Hello everybody, I'm out here at the Land Eco Village where I plan on possibly doing some things in the future. This video is specifically geared towards some of the more advanced concepts of the work, not so much the moves. If you want to look at the moves, you can go back to previous videos. We're going to be looking more at the fluidity, the effortlessness, how positioning your feet will cause different aspects of the work to come out through your hands. And so we'll go ahead and get started. So to start off with, the first move, as everybody knows, we're just kind of checking the leg, checking for any tension, any sort of dragging of the leg back and forth. If it catches in any places, there was a small catch just then, and so we just let all that kind of settle out. So if you stand with your feet really close together, you don't quite feel as grounded and sturdy to the client. So if you get your legs spread a little bit, get a little bend in your knees, it makes the work come out of your hands a lot more effortlessly because you have a more solid base. You can even kind of bounce up and down just a little bit and cause that bouncing motion to go up the leg and hopefully all the way up into the neck and in the back of the head. And so next, you gently pull the leg and bounce it on the table. And again, if you try to stand up straight and do this, you wind up really kind of tensing your lower back a little too much. So you want to kind of squat down, have one foot out in front of the other, and just lean back on that back leg. And you can just kind of use your body weight to get a nice solid pull, and you're using gravity to get the pull going as opposed to your own muscles. And gravity is much more consistent than if you just try and pull with your arms. So you just kind of sink back and just kind of let your body just pull, gently pull the leg. But there's a firmness to it because you're using your whole body. So then we come back, check the leg again. It's much more fluid because of that gentle lengthening. There's a lot more mobility and a lot more relaxation. And so again, the next move, we're going to roll, do the rolling pin. And if you stand up straight and try to do this, you wind up using too much of your lower back. So you get a nice archer stance with one foot forward, the other one behind you, and you can just kind of move back and forth between those feet. And if you have them nice and spread, you get a full range of motion and it's effortless. You're basically just using your calf muscles. And the client feels that consistency. And hold. And in the same way when you come back out, you go back and forth between your feet. If you stand up tall, you wind up moving that lower back, you wind up having to use your arms a lot. You get a nice archer stance with back leg straight, front leg bent. And you can just rock back and forth between your toes, between your feet. And come back, nice spread stance, knees bent, and we feel the difference. One foot in front of the other, lean back on the back leg, and pull. Alright, now for the sitting down part, you want to make sure you sit up nice and tall, because if not, again, you start this kind of rocking stuff with your upper body. If you sit up nice and tall, you can rock from down at your core, and it's a much more effortless, and that's what we're gearing for here. And just working that calf muscle and that Achilles tendon on the thigh. Alright, and again, you might wind up falling out of it, so you want to get up straight again. And there will be a little sweat in this video. It's 90 degrees out here, but we are thoroughly enjoying the heat and just being out in nature. And most of this work is geared towards getting the natural movements of the body back into the body. And so we really enjoy all the land out here. And again, even with this move, if you're all hunched over, you wind up using too much of your hands. When you're up nice and tall, you can just kind of pivot from the hip. And you really don't even have to use your arm that much. You just kind of flick your wrist. You just let this movement come from your core down into the hand. Next, we grab the heel. Get a nice commanding grip on the foot. And if we hunch over a little bit, we wind up, it's all in the hands and the wrist and the carpal tunnels. It gets all this stuff tight. When we sit up nice and tall, we can just kind of let it come from the core, come from the hips. And the client can certainly feel the difference because it's more consistent. And we move our hand up. And one more again. Nice and effortless. And come back here. Nice wide stance. And then one foot in front of the other. Leaning back, letting our body weight do the pulling. Alright, next, the circular motion of the leg. If we have our feet together, it winds up being too much work. Spread our feet, one foot in front of the other, nice archer stance, and just float back and forth between those feet. Very effortless. And then we come to the end of the table. Again, nice low stance, feet spread, knees bent, and it's just all in the legs, very little in the arms. Alright, next when we come out into this position, get them used to it. Got one foot in front of the other. Makes it nice and fluid. You can even hang out here and just float back and forth between your front and your back foot. And then drag them back on the table. And check the work. And then pushing down in tree pose, same thing. You have your feet close together, you wind up pushing with your upper body a lot, and it doesn't feel grounded and firm and consistent to the client. And it's not as easy for them to relax into that if it's constantly, the force is changing. So when you spread your feet, you just gently rock back and forth. It's consistent. It's the same force every time. It's gentle, but at the same time there's a heaviness to it because your entire body is pushing down on that one point. And hold for a couple seconds. Then bring them up. And the same. If you have your feet close together, it's not as fluid. So you get one foot in front of the other, and it's like a wave going in and out, washing into shore and then coming right back out to sea. In and out. And it's all in the feet. Very little movement in the arms, a little bit in the hands, but not much. Back down. Again, feel the difference. Right, next. Same thing. Feet nice and spread. Not even moving them, just floating back and forth between them. And then hold. Back down to center. And every time that leg gets a little bit looser, every move, the client should wind up trusting you a little more because they feel that gentleness. But at the same time, they feel that there's a change happening in their body all the way from their leg up to their neck. There's a lengthening and there's a loosening. Alright, so now the around the world hip circles. We've already done the first half of it. Come up here. Get them used to the second part. She's already limbered up and used to the second part of it, so we're going to go the whole way. It's all in the feet.